From the Wayne County Courthouse in Goldsboro, North Carolina, Wayne Goldsboro Television brings you the meeting of the Wayne County Board of Commissioners. The meeting begins shortly with an agenda briefing, then the regular meeting will begin soon after. Please stand by for the Wayne County Board of Commissioners meeting.
Good morning. Whoa, I don't know if that was mine or not. All right, let's go over the agenda real quick, and of course I've got the call to worship what I'm doing now, and then we'll have an invocation by Mr. Daugherty, and I've got the pledge, and there's any approval minutes, of course, in discussion of the agenda. Any adjustment on that, Mr. Wood?
No, we'll need well, I do want to add one thing. We've had a request, and I think it's valid, I've talked to Steve Stroud about it, is we still have some people who are having to get building permits for hurricane-related activities. Mm-hmm. If y'all remember, we waived those for a while, and then we thought we had everybody, but we're just now getting some of them as far as renovations and new construction. So my recommendation is that you extend that for hurricane repairs and replacement till June 30th of next year.
We actually got it in the agenda on number 6, so unfinished business.
Did we add that?
Yeah, we've already
Yes,
added
sir.
it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I thought I read that somewhere.
I'm behind the times.
Well,
I'm
you told
sorry.
Carol called me, and I said, it sounds fine to me.
That's right, we added it. Okay, that's,
They kind
See-
of leaving you out of the loop, ain't they?
I'm telling you, yeah. I forgot I called it.
Senior moment.
Yes, having more of those.
Well, all
Okay,
be all.
anyway, and then we do need a closed session, but that's it.
All right. Any adjustment from the commissioners? Okay. Oh, by the way, Mr. Martin's got vertigo today. He's at the doctor this morning. He said we're not going to be able to make it.
Right.
If you haven't already been told. All right, after that, we got public comments, and we do have some appointments after that.
We have 3 board appointments.
We got 3. Okay. All right, at 9:15, we'll have a public hearing and to receive public comments on the adoption of Wayne County Incentive Grant for New Industry. And I think that was, had a briefing on that at our last meeting already.
That's right.
So, at 9:30, we'll have a public hearing to receive public comments on the annual budget and CIP. Then we'll move in on to unfinished business, and we'll talk a motion to authorize the chairman and the clerk to the board to execute an agreement regarding the construction of a shell industrial building in Park East.
Right, and I believe Carol has those. Did y'all give those out?
I have not given those out.
Because we don't have to. Right. I guess they would be, I guess, yeah, I guess
Thank you.
Thank you. And the budget, and the budget.
George, anything about the agreement we need to cover?
On the shell building,
Yeah.
let's see, Borden was negotiating the final changes. Was there anything on this
My
one?
understanding, the city was going to adopt it last night. I do not know if they did.
Okay.
That was their intention, or at least they stated.
Do we need to make a phone call to find that?
We can, we'll do it between now and 9. And then, the next one, there is some changes, and I'm gonna ask Borden to go over that one with you. But 1 and 2 is, number 1 is to authorize it, the shell building, and then number 2 is to authorize us to go ahead with, the RFP on that. And we have that ready to go out. Then number 3 is on development of an industrial park, and that's the one Borden had a few changes. He and Jim Womble had a few changes on.
Right, initially, there was talk about, any of the, profits, both on the shell building, that would, be put back into another shell building. The city wanted the option to be able to determine what their portion, if any, of the profits would be. And, that's in the first one. And in the second one, the thing that we thought was, that had been discussed was that we were going to try to get them to, the city to be able to put in something that they would sell sewer and water at in-city rates. They think they have a legal problem about that, so the language is that they will just do incentives on a case-by-case basis in that, for them to make that determination. Like I told you, I think there is a way that they can do that. So they didn't want it in the agreement that they are going to do it. That this agreement covers what is listed on number 4 before you, the property that's on number 4, as well as any contiguous property that we may purchase.
So we did get them to agree to that.
That's good to hear.
And this also was supposed to be adopted last night. So we'll call them both of them.
Okay.
Let's ask Craig to go call and see whether or not that passed last night.
Yes, sir.
Both of them, Shell and the client.
Yes, sir.
And so let me follow up a little bit. The question about them not putting money back into a future shell building, would you say that again?
They're saying they might be willing to do it, but they wanted it to be their option. They didn't want to do it automatically. You know,
Well, that's
our
okay.
intent was on ours, is take, if we sell ours, is take the profits and put it right back into another shell building. And that's, we had hoped they would do that, but they weren't totally comfortable doing that. So I think their concern was, what if you build the next one somewhere else?
Yeah.
Which is a valid point, you know. I mean, if you were to build one in Mount Olive, they're not sure they should participate in that. And in that case, we'd probably go to Mount Olive and say, we'd like you to participate.
And Crystal has just told the city approved both of them.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Well,
well,
that's good.
Greg's gonna find out too.
Yeah.
Who finds out the same answer?
But anyway, that was their concern, is that, you know, because we do have an industrial park in Mount Olive, and so their point was, they didn't think that would go over well if they took their investment
Well, that's a valid point, I
and
understand.
put that into Mount Olive. But if, again, if that happened, we would approach Mount Olive about doing a comparable deal.
So am I understanding that their investment, they won't just, if we sell it, they'll just take it out?
They just
Hold
take it out.
And then decide?
But if we were gonna go to one of the 2 industrial parks here, we would go back to them and say, okay, we'd like you to.
Sure.
up
Reinvest.
the same amount of money, you know, something like that.
And in number 4, it's on there really because there's a budget amendment that goes with that. The option is really with WCDA. It's not the county. The option has a provision that the county can, that the WCDA can assign it to the county anytime it wants to. So it's really going to be a determination of whose money. But there's a $50,000 initial payment that the county is going to give $50,000 to WCDA so they can comply with the option.
And in addition, you know, ultimately, you'll be drawing the property down usually. So I just feel like you ought to be on record that you are in agreement with them to move forward with it.
Am I of the understanding that at the end of the 5 years, the option could be extended, or they could require it to be paid off in full.
It would be paid off, all the property would be bought at the price that's set in the auction.
At the end of the 5 years.
At the end of the
That's
5
right.
years.
And what we're doing is making sure it's on ballot. Greg says they're approved.
Same answer, good.
Same answer.
We didn't know Crystal had solved. We were just hoping you didn't get a different answer. What were we talking about?
5 years, 5 years.
Oh, yeah. That's the intent, is that we would buy down whatever properties left that we haven't bought yet. Because
At the
you
end of
would have
5
made those utility investments and everything, so the land would be much more valuable than what you're buying it at that point.
And the agreement that you're having with the city about the development of it, the city is agreeing to put in the water and the sewer, and you're agreeing to put in the streets.
And they committed to even the contiguous property.
Well, we got everything we wanted, so it's time to move on.
I agree.
But what you're really going to be adopting today is that $50,000 budget thing.
Yeah.
Which I think Carolyn.
She just
She
handed
just
out.
passed that out. We all got it.
So really, on that, Mr. Chairman, on that motion, we should add "and the appropriate budget amendment."
Is that go with number 4?
Yes, sir.
That goes on number 4.
Okay, moving on. Motion to award a contract in the amount of $1,557,921.85 to Trader Construction for street repairs in Canterbury Village and North Creek subdivisions.
Yeah, this, of course, obviously, we're pleased with the price. I will say that we do need to add about $195,000, which is the engineering, but also the inspection. Y'all remember, they've got to have an inspector there every single day. So we went and added that. If you do that, we're at about $1,752,921. But you would adopt this number because this is the contractual number. But I wanted y'all to know that's where we're at in terms of comparing that to the $2.2 million estimate. So unless we hit some serious change orders out there, we should be saving some significant money, which of course will be passed on to the property owners out there when you do the final assessments. But we don't do the final assessments till the project's completed because we don't know if there'll be any change orders yet.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
is there an estimated time when the project may start?
We're planning on starting probably in 2 or 3 weeks. But we're ready to go. He's ready to go.
Good.
Okay.
And
That's all right.
I did talk to, the other day when I was with Giles, I talked to him and Tim Little about this paving company, and they said that they had never had any issues with it.
And if y'all recall, we had to use, we could only allow bidders who were on their list and were in good standing with DOT.
Okay, number 6 is the motion for the fees that we talked about this.
Right, and like I said, I talked to Steve Stroud, and we both felt like we should, instead of going 3 months, we ought to just go about, a year, and hopefully that'll take care of everybody. Again, it still has to be hurricane related. It's not a waiver of all building permit fees. It's just those that they can prove are related to hurricane damage.
Okay, moving to the consent agenda. This is applications for present use value. They're all good to go.
Yeah, everything's fine there. We can go over those if you want, but I think everything's in order there.
Unless there's any question, I don't have any problem with it. Ms. Allison, you're up next.
Okay. Budget amendments. The first budget amendment is for the detention center. They are reallocating $60,000 from an existing line item for the juvenile services to the shared expenses central prison line item. This is to cover the remainder of the year in safekeeping services. For social services, requesting to reallocate $27,250 from their hospitalization line item to cover the contract that provides us with the interim director through the remainder of the fiscal year. For the revaluation tax department, reallocating $52,000 from professional services to capital outlay. This was due to an item that should have been coded to our fixed assets line item, and it was not, so it's an accounting adjustment. For the detention center, they are wanting to reallocate $8,633 out of laundry services to cover a couple of their salaries-related line items, and they are not using this laundry services line item any longer because of the new facility where they're doing their own laundry.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
could I back up?
Sure,
I'm sorry, I'm slow this
that's
morning.
okay.
On social services, it was my understanding that the state was in fact going to pay for both salaries,
They were gonna pay their share,
their share. Oh,
which is not 100%
evidently not. Thank you very much.
It's still a good deal.
Is it 80/20, which positions, or?
I think these are more 50-50, somewhere in that neighborhood.
That's what I understand.
Okay,
I just couldn't remember it.
Okay,
their share.
for the sewer, I'm on budget amendment number 464. This is to anticipate the Golden Leaf grant funding for the rebuild of the Genoa Sewer Lift Station, as a result of damages from Hurricane Matthew. For Soil and Water, to anticipate the Department of Agricultural Division of Soil and Water's conservation grant for stream debris removal in the amount of $223,961. For Soil and Water, to anticipate Golden Leaf grant funding to do Clean Out Wayne County Streams grant in the amount of $237,473.93. For EMS, requesting to reallocate $5,083. This is to cover some additional employees that opted out of the county's health insurance plan. Facility services, $10,000. This is to appropriate some funds out of their fuel and oil line item to cover repairs and maintenance on equipment through the remainder of the fiscal year. For the tax office, requesting to reallocate $21,071 from the postage line item to a couple of the vehicle transaction fee line items. This is really, they had a slight increase in their fee in this current year, and also the vehicle taxes have increased, so the related transaction charges have increased. Okay, for FEMA, the amount of $11,425, and this is to anticipate reimbursement for FEMA for repairs to the sewer as a result of Hurricane Matthew. I believe this is the wet well out at SPX, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think that's
For Literacy Connections, $1,500. They needed additional funds for hospitalization opt-out, but they will be reimbursing us for that, so you'll see the revenue where we're anticipating receiving that from Literacy. For HCCBG wages, this is to anticipate the remainder of the funding from NSIP, which is Nutritional Services Incentive Program. We had received part of the funding, this is the remainder of the funding, $86,839. For social services, $62,481. These are to balance the funding authorization received on the daycare child subsidy line item. This does not require an adjustment to our county dollars. For streetlights, these are a reallocation basically from one revenue line item to another for each of our streetlight funds. Essentially, when the new tax software update took place, it was set up in one account code and it was originally being coded in another. And it's easier to do a budget amendment than change the coding in the software. So that's what that's for. For services on aging, $657, and this is an annual program where Duke Energy donates monies for fans and a couple of AC units for needy seniors that may not have a way of cooling their houses. For services on aging, $2,726. This is to anticipate money from the East Carolina Council Family Caregivers Program to provide vouchers for caregivers of seniors. For MRAC, $11,074. This is reallocating out of the contingency in the MRAC fund to cover the director's salary for the remainder of the fiscal year and related fringes. For services on aging, $5,212.51 to appropriate various donations received during the fiscal year. For the sheriff's office, $2,461.46 to anticipate insurance reimbursements received. For central services, $40,700 reallocated from salaries and wages to cover additional amounts on hospitalization insurance and retirees. This amount has increased due to an increase in retirements. It also had increased last year, and we didn't catch it when we did the 16-17 budget in time to change it, so we're basically playing catch-up. Okay, for the sewer, we are decreasing the revenue $820,000. This is to reflect that we are not going to carry out the revolving sewer loan fund. So we are also adjusting the expenditures down by $820,000. And finally, $54,880 for the sewer. We did have some capital outlay in the sewer fund due to replacing the sewer meters. And so we are adjusting, reallocating the line items in that fund to cover the capital outlay.
That was a carryover. Y'all remember we started that project, so like carrying over there, then you don't need the debt service of $41,000 on that loan.
Are there any questions? I know that was quite a few.
Any questions? I do have one, Mr. Wood. On that soil water for that clean out grant, have we listed the RFP for that yet?
I'm sorry, what?
The clean out grant for that soil water, clean out the streams, have we bid that out yet?
We're getting ready to. They've been working on the RFP, and I think they're ready to go. But we can't spend any money until you do these budget amendments.
Okay.
So,
I'm just curious.
yeah, I think she's ready to go. You've been working with her on that.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
question for Mr. Wood. Who determines which streams will be, gonna be worked on?
Well, if you
Because, I
remember,
mean,
she
'cause it-
went through and made a determination of that along with Chip. We looked at which ones had been flooded the most.
Right.
So, that's how we determined them. We looked at, which ones we felt, would do the most good. Most of them are in the news, drain into
Right.
the Neuse River in some way.
Okay. Number 3, motion to approve East Coast Pyrotechnics to use, at Berkeley Mall for fireworks. This is John Moore, Fire Marshal, Fire Department. It's pretty straightforward. And number 3 is a different one, that's for Pikeville. And we got the email that came with that, the recommendation, is that correct?
Yeah, both of them are in order. The one, I think we waived about 3 days on the 45-day time period, but that's not a problem.
Any questions? All right, new business, motion to approve the resolution for the Senate and House bills for family child protection and accountability. I think we got a copy of that in our packet. didn't we?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
It's on page 61. This is what Ray had talked about the
Yeah.
time before. where basically that there's this bill in the legislature which would try to regionalize DSSs. You know, right now you have 100 counties, you have 100 DSS officers. And this is an attempt to aggregate those into 30 or fewer regional departments of social service. So in essence, they're trying to do there what they've done with mental health, which was take it from being county by county. They started off very small, you know, and then you had 3 or 4 in a region. Then it became 12. Like East Point is 12 counties. Now, as y'all know, if East Point combines, I think we're up to 36 to 38. So we see this as the precursor to going the same route, which isn't working very well. And so I think everybody is pretty much opposed to it. And that's what we're trying to do, is say that should be up to us whether or not we want to voluntarily go in with another county or something and do a joint DSS, but it ought not to be forced by the state. So that's why the opposition.
And Mr. Chairman, there will not be anybody here to read this, so your options are you can read it yourself, Mr. Mayo, since he's on the board, or I'll read it. It's up to you.
Do we need to?
I don't think we have to read it, do we? No, we don't have to read it.
We don't have to.
We don't have to.
Correction, you have 4 options.
Mr. Chairman, I understand as of yesterday that it's pretty close to being approved that the mandatory part is being taken out of the legislature, which is what we wanted.
Right.
They can run all the studies they want to, but it shouldn't be mandatory that we join into a group. So we have a, Mr. Errol Merritt, the interim DSS director, there's a lot of people. He hasn't found anybody else that's for this. And of course, in your packet, the DSS Directors Association adamantly opposes mandatory regionalization. So thank you so much for considering this resolution.
We'll let you make the motion.
Thank you. I would be glad to.
Okay, then we got a couple of properties that we jointly owned by the city and the county that we're gonna be motioned to go up for sale. That's one on North John Street, one on Mimosa.
Right.
We've done this many times in the past.
Right.
And then finally, we'll have the county update video.
Right. And I think we also wanted to add a couple of videos, didn't we, about Wings
Yes,
Over
sir, there'll be
Wayne?
2 videos added by the Communications Department. One that you've seen, the Wings Over Wayne, but I think that Commissioner Bell requested that one be played today. And then the second one will be the new MRAC tour video that Mr. Wood requested.
I've had the opportunity to see both. They're both pretty good. Then that point, we'll have county manager comments, then board of commissioners, and then this afternoon will be hopefully we'll finish up our budget work session this afternoon.
Right. Right.
If we move fast enough, maybe we'll go through lunch.
That's right.
But we do need a closed session, is that correct?
That's correct.
And that's for, I'm sorry, just a moment. Yes.
I just want to remind you, I'll be leaving early today. I think Crystal may be going. Are you going to Kinston? Okay, we're having the aviation corridor meeting for aerospace. I feel like I really need to be there because the 3 counties that have come together to discuss the aerospace corridor, we're having a luncheon, so I want to leave early so I can be there for that today. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
And he called me about it, and I told him he was excused, because he's got good reasons for being there. And it is important. We'll just eat part of your chicken and barbecue today. You don't get to have all of it. But, you know, we won't vote on the budget today anyway, so.
That's right.
We'll be coming back to do that. We will need everybody here for that, though. Is that not correct?
Don't have to.
It's best to have, best. I can never remember what to answer that question
That's
is.
one of the ones that can be passed on the first show it without.
When I do it this afternoon, I'm just kidding.
No, you're
I'm kidding.
waiting for the legislature.
Right, I know why we're waiting. Okay, and the closed session is for,
It's to consult with me to maintain our attorney-client privilege.
all right,
So moved.
okay, thank you. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. We're in closed session.